Hello, everyone. This is just in. I just got it in a few moments ago. It appears that the white refugees that settled in a certain area of the U.S., specifically those that are settled around zoos, it appears that animals are missing. This just came across my desk just now. Apparently, the South Africans are taking animals from the zoo to eat. My goodness grief, I wonder what the president would say about that, especially the vice president. Wow, this is really bad, folks. Why would they go to the zoo to get animals? I think they're planning to cook them, folks. So if you see any animals running around and white people chasing them, white South Africans, please call your nearest local police or just let somebody know. Call animal protection. Do something. But that's a joke, folks. A little payback, because I remember back during the campaign when Vance was saying that, Haitians were eating the cats and dogs, and it wasn't necessarily true, but it got attention to their campaign, so it must have been successful. So I am going to use the same methods that he did to make people pay attention, I guess, right? So you lie, and people start believing it, and then it becomes truth. Well, I mean, the white South Africans are doing the same thing, but they eat exotic animals, like lions, tigers, cockadoos, and all these exotic birds. The zoos are missing them. So that's what they say. But anyway, let's move on to this situation of bringing white refugees into our country. First off, I do want to say that the underlying reasons for this exodus of white people from South Africa to the U.S. is to try to pad the white people's numbers. The numbers are dropping. They're almost, how would you say, they're panicking. So what they're trying to do, but it's, I guess they got 50 or 70 refugees in here now. So I think what they're trying to do is pad their numbers. They do not want to be the minority in this country. So whatever way is possible, sending millions of Latin Americans, Haitians back to their countries, and then importing whites. So to try to pad their numbers, because their birth rate is low. And this is more than just in the U.S. Birth rates are low now. So they're worried about becoming a minority in the U.S., all right? And whatever way they can try to mitigate this. So right now they're working on Latin Americans, Spanish-looking people, and Haitians and Africans. They try to get rid of as many as possible to put more on their side of the ledger, all right? That way they can have that majority. But you know why they don't want to be a minority? Did you ever ask yourself, have you ever asked yourself, why would white people not want to be in the minority? I mean, they get the control of the wealth, all right? Answer that question. Well, I know what it is, all right? They don't want to be in the minority because they know that being in the minority exposes you to abuse, death, slavery, you name it. So they figure that if they are in the minority, what they did in the past is going to come back and haunt them. But, if we are in the majority, I know as black folks, we're not, I don't think we're like that, right? If we became the majority, I don't think that we'll put them in slavery. Do you? Drop a little comment and let me know where you put white people in slavery if we had the opportunity. But anyway, let's get back to this South African situation with them claiming that there's genocide being committed. That's not true. It's been proven by independent entities outside of South Africa that it's not true. So here you go again. They're throwing out these lies to precipitate an extraordinary move. Okay? I mean, it's just too much. But let's get back to the nitty gritty of this South African thing. Afrikaner, that's what they call the white people there that colonized the country. You got some French, you got Dutch, you got some Germans in there. Let's talk about how this all started. Okay, let me just give you a brief history of the South African refugees. All right, they could be referred to in two distinct groups. Foreign nationals who have sought refugee status in South Africa from other African countries. Like, Mozambique, and a few other countries where when the power structure changed, they were cast out, okay? Okay, so, well, they are colonizers, so what do you expect, right? South Africans themselves who have sought asylum abroad, most recently a group of white South Africans primarily known as Afrikaners, have been offered asylum in the United States. The Trump administration has launched a controversial refugee program that grants expedited refugee status to white South Africans, primarily Afrikaners, citing alleged persecution by South Africa's black-led government. This move comes amid the broader suspension of most of the other U.S. refugee admissions and which has been criticized significantly both domestically and internationally. So the thing is, why should we be doing that? There's no genocide being practiced over there. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, the white people here are trying to pad their numbers because they see their numbers slipping. But what they fail to realize is that bringing in a few South Africans is not going to change the dynamic. They will still become the minority. They're going to fight now. They may push it back for 5, 10 years. All right, but it was projected that they would be a minority in 2050. So let's say he sends all these people back and this and that. Okay, fine. They can still beat them in time through crossbreeding, racial marriages. That's what I'm talking about when I say crossbreeding. They're going to be in a minority. It's just the way it is. Now let's say they create a separate race for biracial people. All right, where some fall on their side and some fall on our side. That's a tough situation. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. But going back to these South African refugees, I wish they would move into my area and talk some trash and practice and attempt to practice apartheid. I wish they would. All right, this is just a vain effort, a failing effort on behalf of Donald Trump to keep things going. Always keeping them. The guy. I can't go 1 week. No, 1 hour without hearing something that he's doing, which is unfortunate. But, we'll see. In the meantime, as far as South Africans are for me, I can tell you, they drain their resources. We talk about resources. All right, let's just take a look at this film a little bit here. I got a clip that I want to show everybody, and I'm going to share that with you guys. You see Trump pushing that lie? But there they are. They're coming to reinforce the white people in America. Look at them. My goodness. Look at them. They're already farming. Well, that's enough of that. I'm not going to even, go there. I don't want to go there, but it's amazing what they can come up with. I tell you, people, if we can get rid of the noise and focus on exactly what they're doing, it doesn't change a thing. It doesn't really change a thing. I mean, this is the personality or the modus operandi of Trump. He's always going to do something controversial. He doesn't really care about that. He's going to always do something controversial. So this is just another thing. But I just hate to even find out that these Afrikaners are coming over here attempting to look down on Black Americans. Over here, buddy, we're not South African. We're Black Americans. We're not going to take a lot of nonsense. So if you stay on your side, we'll stay on our side. Okay? And you got a lot of nerve, saying that you're being persecuted. I mean, from what I understand, the South Africa crime rate it applies to everybody, not just you as farmers. But you're on their land anyway, so you should realize that. And then you want to come over here, buy some land. I'm quite sure Trump he's a real estate guy. I'm quite sure he got some stuff that he can sell you. All right? So anyway, that's enough talk about these South Africans. I didn't want to do a long story on these South African refugees, these Afrikaners. But I do want to do a call to action to all of you. If you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, follow. And let me just point out where we are. We are everywhere. We have our own YouTube channel, the Walk Weekly Podcast. We are all on all major streaming services, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, you name it, we're there. All right. So I would like to see y'all guys, subscribe. And we're going to have a lot of exciting stuff coming along. All right. Another thing I do want to point out while I have the opportunity is that when I started the Walk Weekly back in 2019, I did not foresee talking about politics. Our mission statement when we founded the Walk Weekly was to be apolitical. We don't bring on entertainers. We don't bring on athletes. We bring on regular folks. But, times are changing, especially with the political side. That apolitical we cannot afford to be because we need every Black voice out there now. We need people speaking up. Okay? So make those comments. Give me your thoughts. Let me know. And I'll get back to you. All right. And our email address is thewalkweekly@gmail.com. debunked.com. Okay. And as I said, we're everywhere. Subscribe, click that notify button if you're on YouTube, and we will respond, man. We will respond. We're looking for your comments. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think we covered enough of this subject today. See you next time. Thank you for joining us. This is Walter Latham. Bye bye.